This is a spectacular place to cook. I'm on the penthouse at Leonard Apartments in Hobart. While we were down here, I went to Small Fry and I was impressed with the way Reece did his mussels in the chorizo. So I'm gonna do something like that and do my little version of his moules marinara. First thing we're gonna do, chorizo into our cold pan. And it is a cold pan, it's quite cold down here. Middle of winter in Tasmania, there is snow on the mountain. I'm gonna bring some heat into the pan. I'm gonna render out as much of that oil as I can. Once we get a little bit of oil out of there, I'm gonna put in my garlic and then fry that off with a little bit of onion. And there we go. So I've got some of that flavor out of our chorizo. So now I'm gonna pop in, this is pickled octopus, which you can get in any good deli, and it's nice to eat on its own just as a snack, but I'm gonna pop it in here for a little bit of extra seafood flavor. 250 grams of mussels. Just gonna pick and pop in. And once I get all my mussels in there, I can add in my tomato sauce. And you can pick any tomato sauce that you want to go in there. I'm using a tomato and ricotta base, the Barilla one, just because I love it. And I reckon more and more people are starting to use cheese with seafood. And initially it was seen as a bit of a faux pas, but you can get away with it now. And I think it's a great combination. So I've got my sauce in there now, it's bubbling away. About 5 minutes, that's gonna be ready. So to go in there with it, I'm gonna pop in a little bit of lemon zest. As I said, it's a take on what Reece did at Small Fry, but it's my version, I guess, of mussels a la spaghetti. So mussels with spaghetti, or spaghetti marinara. Dark Mofo doing its thing. If you don't know what Dark Mofo is, Mona, which is Museum of New Art down here in Tasmania. It's a great little place if you're down here visiting. They put on a little event during winter to try and get people out and about and remind them that winter isn't a bad time. You can get out and still enjoy it. And it's built around the winter solstice. And they have the winter feast to remind us that we are alive during winter and we can get out and enjoy ourselves. So that's all of our zest. And I'm just going to put a little bit of juice in there. Now I've got the pickled oki in there, so it's still going to be quite tart. So I don't want too much of that lemon juice. So the zest will give us the flavor that we need. That's getting very, very close. Last thing is some chopped parsley. Just roughly chop a nice handful of parsley and pop that in. And then I've got some spaghetti that I've already cooked up. It's a whole grain spaghetti, Barilla. And I'm gonna pop that in straight into the pan and we'll stir it around. And that's it. So it's a nice quick dish. And if you hadn't had the pasta cooked up, you could put the pasta on at the beginning of the dish, and by the time you got to the end, you can take the pasta straight out of the pot, like we normally do when we're back in the kitchen, and into our pan. So our pre-cooked pasta. So I've just pre-cooked this and then put a little bit of oil on it, just to keep it nice and loose. So we'll pop a couple of handfuls of that in there. I'll get my tongs now, so that I can give it a good mix around. And that is basically the dish. Once you get all the pasta coated, and again, if you wanted to just put your spaghetti on the bottom of the bowl and pour your sauce over the top, you can do that as well. I just reckon this is a good way of making sure everything's nicely mixed. But that looks pretty good. Taste this sauce and make sure our seasoning's right. A little bit of salt. It's bloody good though. On a cold winter's night here in Tassie. That is delicious. I'll use the same bowl. Back into our bowl. Some of that chorizo and octopus on top. A little bit more about picked pasta to go on top of that. And there we go. My version of Reece at Small Fry's moules marinara. I'm going to call mine mussels and spaghetti.